go. So the title of this talk today is How to Pick Fights with Bigger Players and Win. Before I get into that, I think what the most interesting aspect of AI is that it's here to stay. Also, I'm Irish. I apologize in advance for the accent if you can't understand me. I can't really do anything about that. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm a customer success manager at JH. We work on the bleeding edge of e-commerce. We are heavily invested in AI. We have some of our clients actually already implementing AI deep throughout their business, which is phenomenal. Just in terms of a little bit of an icebreaker, I love to get audience interaction. Does anyone use AI at the minute, just by a show of hands? About half. We're a year and a half in. Wow, slightly underperforming, but that's cool. That's good. In terms of those people that raise their hands, how many of you would continuously use it to enrich your lives and not just your day-to-day emails? Anyone using it in their personal lives? Scrolling back 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. That is really good. So I'm going to do a little bit of a social experiment. So most people have raised their hands at some point so far. Now, if 10 was Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, ChatGPT, and 1 was your mother-in-law, who is a complete technophobe, rate yourself on that scale of 1 to 10 and give yourself a number. I'll give you a couple seconds. Have a really good think. Okay. If you're a 7 or above, raise your hand. Cool. You can leave. This isn't for you. Cool. Listen, as I said before, the title of this talk is How to Pick Fights with Bigger Players and Win. AKA how to use AI to scale your business. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a brief summary of the history of AI. I know it's only been a year and a half, but there has been hirings, firings, coups, take your pick. I'm going to skip over most of that and just do a little bit of what's happened. I'll do a state of the union, and then we're going to look at what's coming up in the future and actual applications that you can apply to your business and your lives and just improve everything. So with that being said, I do have some key definitions. Now you've probably seen the majority of these before, but if I could just draw your attention to AI, artificial general intelligence, and AI agent. I think, so the top 3. Good job, Nick. I think that they are going to be key for everybody in this room going forward. AI, and I spoke about this extensively yesterday for anyone that would listen, I think is the biggest buzzword in marketing, in tech. Everything is AI. There is toasters that have AI. There is irons that have AI. There is everything and anything imaginable has AI. Now, I think the goal, I don't think I know, the goal of OpenAI is to get us to this artificial general intelligence. So where machines can operate almost independently and, the whole idea of the Jefferson's robot, hey, go do X, Y, and Z, thank you very much. Where I think we're at the minute, and kind of the latest and greatest in terms of tech, is the AI agents and how they're being applied. I think that, whenever we actually look at what these are, and I'll speak about it later without getting too technical, you can go and create your own GPT and have that serve a specific function. Now, in my opinion, that's kind of a good stance of where we're at right now, but there's a lot of technology that needs to come in, and I'm going to go into the other room and start pulling people's pockets. Is there any chance? Let's make some progress on this. But yeah, just some general definitions that I think may help you guys. So, how long has it been here? I've said 3 or 4 times it's been here for a year and a half. So in November 2022, OpenAI released their ChatGPT to the world. It was the fastest at that time. We'll forget Threads because that doesn't count. But it was the fastest, product market launch ever. It took 6 weeks to get to 100 million users. I think Threads took 6 days, but no one uses it anymore. Fell on its face. Anyway, we'll still keep it with ChatGPT. So from that, there's been so much that has came. Ta-da! If you're looking at this and you're thinking, Nick, I can't see anything, it's way too thin, there's way too much information on the screen, that's the point. There are so many things that have launched in the past year and a half in terms of machine learning, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of cloud. ChatGPT themselves, with a update, has probably wiped 25% of this off the map. just through their GPT services. So case in point, there is a lot cooking with AI at the moment, so much so that specifically with ChatGPT, 2 million plus developers are currently working on building on OpenAI's APIs, which is insane. So for anybody in the room that's kind of going, do you know what, AI sounds great, or it sounds great in principle, I think my toaster will eventually learn my behavioral application to give me that pale toast I want, but I'm just not really, I don't think it's here to stay. It's here to stay. So just in terms of use cases, I just want to go through a really quick roundup in the past year for what has, what have been the big wins. So healthcare, first and foremost, I think through AI-powered diagnostics and personal treatment plans, if we look at the likes of Neuralink and what Elon Musk is doing, there's a video I was going to include, I just didn't think I was going to have enough time, of the first Neuralink patient actually playing chess through just his thoughts, which is insane, judging by that lady's expression. I should have, but it is what it is. There has been massive improvements with, protein folds. Like you may have heard of like AlphaZero, you may have heard of like just different protein teams throughout massive organizations, and the whole idea around it was that we can decode how proteins work, so we could then make antigens, antibodies, cures to a lot of issues that we're having in the world. If you look at kind of what happened with COVID and how fast we could roll out vaccines, like that was awesome. That all played a part. Other things that we're seeing is just actually in terms of AI itself. So the natural language processing has massively, massively improved. To steal Vlad's point from this morning about Siri in 2014 being absolutely brutal, and it's still absolutely brutal in 2024. If you compare and contrast that to the likes of where we're at right now, like you can go and have a conversation with Claude, with ChatGPT or Claude, you can just ask it the same question and you will get a fantastic response. Like Claude, in my opinion, and I'm going to be really Claude heavy today. They don't pay me to say it though, yet. You're going to get phenomenal responses. If you ask ChatGPT, you might get 95% response that I would get from you if I asked you the same question and you knew the answer. But with Claude and with some of the actual like natural language and processing that these companies can do now, it's insane. Like it is absolutely phenomenal. So on the screen, I also have some robot, which you can hopefully make out there. Robotics is generally progressing really ridiculously fast. We have some financial charts. There's a lot of analyzing data that is getting done with and through the use of AI. So, Nick, AI, friend or foe? So a big theory that kind of is being thrown around is the Skynet theory. We've all seen Terminator. We all know the end of the world. We've all seen the AI doomers kind of going and talking and saying like, listen, we need to do a 6-month pause, or we need to go and like they're going to take all of our jobs, or we have writer strikes in Hollywood. Like there's so much like negativity around it. But the question is it a killer or is it kind? Like how can we like define this? My opinion and my answer to this is it's ultimately the calculator versus Skynet. So if you want to use it for good and you want to actually develop it and you want to personally like make this what you need it to be to improve your life daily, because guys, we're all in this room, we're all geeks to some extent, we all love tech, and even if you don't, you're working in it, so you kind of fit up with it. I think we should really look at the calculator hypothesis of whenever calculators came out, or whenever, forget abacuses because they're going back a long time, but whenever calculators came out, a lot of people looked at accounting as a profession and went, well, you guys are done, pack your bags, I don't need you anymore. How many people have an accountant? 2 of us, cool. Needless to say, it's still a function today. I don't think anyone is taking your job or your role. And more importantly, I don't think that's happening as long as you don't let it. If you stay on top of AI and use AI as a tool, it will absolutely get you there. Now, we've covered the history. We've covered a little bit of the state of play, like where we're at. So Nick, what's coming with the future? Like personally, I think that the biggest bullish sentiment I've heard on AI ever is from the company Y Combinator. So if anyone's not familiar with YC, as it's dubbed in Silicon Valley and all those fun places, It's a tech incubator based in San Francisco. Some people like not me being like, yes, get to the point. Generally, they have founded more tech unicorns than have went through other means and channels. Gary Tan kind of leads that up. Michael Siebel leads that up at the minute. Really put a lot of content out. Go search YC or Y Combinator on YouTube. Thank me another time. Phenomenal resources there. They did a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and the conclusion that they came to is absolutely crazy. That in the next 5 years or less, they expect the first AI or they expect a tech unicorn to be a solopreneur. So one person just leveraging AI and leveraging AI tools. Like that's crazy to think. Like, are you going to do it? Could it be you? Like it could be you. It could be absolutely anybody with the right gumption and the right mindset to go, well, I really need to do that, but I can't, so I'm going to pull that in, and I'm going to go and pull that in. Again, I know I just said I don't think it's going to take your job. I genuinely don't. I think that these opportunities exist in a separate vacuum. Separately, away from the tech, oh my God, this is awesome space, I think, if we look at what we've done with protein folding teams in research and health, I genuinely think that AI is going to catapult us into a future. Now, I don't know where in the future. It's already put us light years ahead of where we are. Again, I keep going back to this protein folding thing. And I know that kind of glazes some people's eyes over, and I appreciate that. Essentially, it would take about a year and a half and cost $80 million, give or take, to just do one. Within the space of 9 months, they'd pretty much done all of the proteins known to man, with maybe the exception of about 3%. Like, that's absolutely insane, and it cost a fraction, I promise you, a fraction of the price. So I do think it will kind of catapult us there, but where we land, I don't know yet. The last thing that I kind of want to touch on the future, and it's a little bit of spoilers for anybody that doesn't kind of keep up to date with AI, is we're going to touch later on prompting and how prompt engineering as a role and a job and a function that's been created in the past 6 months is potentially on its way out. So prompting is an art or an engineer or a science, depending on who you speak to. But there's some releases that have just happened and are about to happen that's going to take that natural language processing that I mentioned earlier and really turn that up a notch. So if I was to turn around and say, hey, LLM of choice, act like this person, challenge my thought process, here's what I'm thinking, blah, 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 get to a conclusion. Now, if I've kind of not used a smiley face, which we'll get to later, or I've not done X, or I've not done Y, it will skew the results massively, right? We've all experienced this that's used in LLM. Now, with the release of ChatGPT 5, which I believe is rumored to be the 1st of July, with Llama 3, that was released Thursday, I think. I've not had a chance to use it. I'll hold my hand up. And with Claude 3, that's supposed to be coming out sometime in summer, we're going to see this, not hallucinations, because that's something different, but we're going to see this spectrum of we're looking to get this, but we get this really, really decrease. So that sensitivity to prompting is going to really lower the bar. So just in terms of the spoilers I said that I would give you guys, that is, Llama, or Meta, it's Meta's LLM, has just launched last week. We have ChatGPT 5 launching, rumored to be the 1st of July. And we have Claude 3 expected in summer. So, Nick, how the Jesus are we going to make an impact on our business? Like, that's why we're here. It's the title of the talk. What are we doing? So off the bat, also, this is Claude. He's giving a little wave. Off the bat, you can apply artificial intelligence to like some really core functions of your business in terms of product management, project management, data analysts, customer support, marketing, sales, how do we scale, and general operations. Okay, cool. How do we do that? So I'm not a guru, okay? But I will be your guide today. And if you catch me after, just come and grab me. Don't worry, it's not the end of the talk. Just come and grab me after. We'll have a proper conversation. We'll get into it. But essentially, through AI's ability to distill mass amounts of data, it will allow you to kind of simulate functions in a business that don't currently exist. So, apologies. Awesome. Sorry, some tech problems, which is my fault, not theirs. So the first thing that I would recommend you guys do is an AI policy. So either if this is personally, like how are you going to use AI, or professionally, and this is what I really am steering towards, before you start, plan your strategy. The biggest thing or the biggest problem that I see in terms of implementing artificial intelligence is people just jump in. They hear ChatGPT and they're like, okay, I'm all in on this thing. But there's Claude, there's Grok, there's Meta, Llama, there's tons of, well, there's a lot of other LLMs out there that you can absolutely leverage in your business. So plot your route, don't sail blindly, and define how you're going to use that in your business. Is it going to be just for emails? Is it just going to be for this thing? Is this team not allowed on it? Or are you going to close your data for training? Like, what is the game plan? The second thing is your first move should be, what can you actually automate here? So if it is just hooking up into your Gmail or your email service provider, if it's you take a lot of meetings as a business, if you're marketing or if you're design-led, even turning on like AI note summary on Zoom, or investing in a piece of kit like Fireflies.ai, you get a lot of benefits from video recordings, transcripts, summaries of notes. Like, these things can give you back time and can automate a lot of that busy work, as it were. So the third thing is I would recommend exploring some free LLMs. Do not invest the money until you've actually got to experience it. So on the screen, I have Claude, Gemini, Grok, which is from Elon Musk. So if you're a Twitter, aka X, Pro member, you get early access. I can't get on it because I refuse to pay for it. We have ChatGPT and we have the Meta AI Llama. Different tools will give you different results, like I've said a couple of times now. Even though they were all trained on very similar data, if not the same data, they're trained in a different way. So you're going to get slightly different results. I really suggest going and looking at other LLMs that are available to you. Don't just take my word for it. So this is Adam. Adam Egger is probably my comment of the month that I've seen on all social media. Claude 3 is the most human GPT. Gemini, SEO and optimization hooks. Copilot, if he needs free access. Hack. Merlin to give LinkedIn comments. Clio, viral content, and snippet. Like, that's a good tip. Everyone's taking screenshots, and that's good. Cool. So here's some other resources that you can go and look at. Now, it's worth pointing out that these are the 50 or top 50 by unique monthly visitors. These are not the top performing web apps or GPT apps. I would really strongly recommend that. I have tons of resources I could throw your way, and if you're interested, drop me a message on LinkedIn. But from the above on this list, I would really strongly recommend Hugging Face. It's a community for AI. Has anyone been on Hugging Face before? Good man. And Character.ai. Character.ai is very fun. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but go like at lunch or on the next coffee break, type it in and see what you can get away with. It's entertaining. Sorry, tech issue. Cool. So we've done all of that. We've looked at tools. We've looked at LLMs. We've looked at products. What are we going to do about it? So this is where you need to layer this on top of your team. No matter what you do, humans are going to be the base of everything. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a very, very, very good way. This will give us a chance, we talked about efficiencies, but this will give us a chance to really put humans first. So there's a reason that Richard Branson from Virgin is customer service obsessed. There is a reason why Bob Iger from Disney is customer service obsessed. There is a reason why Steve Jobs was customer centric. Layering AI on top of our wonderful teams and people should not only make their lives easier, but it will eventually filter down into our customer experience as well. So, luxury functions you can mimic. What do smaller businesses need to punch above their weight? Generally, it's lean, efficient processes, it's deliver outstanding work, and it's, lastly, the time to do those first two things. With AI and its ability to analyze large data sets and respond certain ways to specific prompts, you will really be able to mimic certain business functions. So what I mean by that is if you need, say, a data scientist or some data analytics, what you can do is you can prompt it in a certain way. You can feed it a lot of data. You can feed it a lot of raw PDFs or various things, and you can get the results you're looking for. Now, the reason I've chosen to use Mimic is because it will do the job, it will do the function for you, but you will only be able to get away with it for so long. There is a need, once you get to a certain level, to actually hire that function, give them the data you've been working with, and you go even further. Again, that catapult analogy that we're going back to. The last thing that I would recommend is that you explore. So I mentioned earlier about creating your own GPTs. Create your own GPT, give it a function, feed it a lot of data, give it a lot of clear, concise instructions, close it, and use that specifically for that function. Just keep constantly going back to that. So if it's marketing ideas, or if it's like, hey, we really want to do this product, can you just really hammer me on this thing? Like, here's what I'm thinking lately. No, terrible idea. Okay, cool. Like, there is a lot of different functions. You know, it's up to you, and unfortunately, that's a lot of what AI is at the moment, where it is up to you. You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to keep knocking that door, and you will make a lot of progress, even if it doesn't feel like it, I promise you. So, I just want to cover quick prompting tips. You think I've spoken before. So we are close to finishing. I know you're all dying for a cup of tea or a pint. So first and foremost, the smiley face. You really need to use that. A lot of people would take the piss whenever you say, I'll not use the word, but hey, seer, just in case anyone's phone goes off. Can you do this thing, please? It's like, why are you saying please? Like, it's a robot. Like, it doesn't actually matter. In the training modules and data that the LLMs are fed, a lot of it is like, please and thank you. Can you do this? Can you not do this? Smiley faces actually will give it a much better response on the output. Same as take a break. Think about this logically. And it might actually take double the time because you've asked it to take a break, but it genuinely impacts the answer. Hey, Claude, give me 5 examples of the Mona Lisa without a hat or with a hat or whatever. Use exact instead of summarize and act as, I don't know, the Pope. Give me these functions. And you will get consistently different answers based on how you prompt those. Now, these are just quick prompting tips. Again, I have a ton of resources that I can give you guys if you're interested. So, with all that being said, how are we going to win? How are we going to scale? As I've mentioned and alluded to, better analysis will lead to better decision making. These next 2 lines are the most, I feel it in my heart, lines. We need to optimize robots for robot things. We need to optimize people for people things. And ultimately, we will deliver an amazing customer experience. So data plus moments of magic being that amazing customer experience, will lead to higher retention rates, increased customer lifetime value, and higher net promoter scores through word-of-mouth marketing to other competitors. Last thing we're going to talk about, one slide, don't show it to me, is winning. So how are we going to win? We're going to weave, we're going to innovate, we're going to nurture. So we're going to continue to weave artificial intelligence through our businesses. We're going to consistently strive to innovate on those things that we've weaved through our business. We're going to ask questions. We're going to look at further tools. We're going to optimize. And lastly, we're going to nurture. So we're going to nurture our customers. We're going to constantly look for feedback. We're going to constantly look for our team's feedback on how AI is improving their lives and ultimately delivering an amazing customer experience. Here's a QR code for LinkedIn. Add me, because I need friends. But if you message me resources, I will share the listed resources, or at least the ones I've referenced to in this talk. There is a lot. Be careful what you wish for. And over the next 6 months, if you could just let me know If this talk has helped on your AI journey, or if it was absolutely crap, I'm also open to feedback as well. Yeah, that's pretty much everything today. We've covered brief history of AI. We've covered what's coming next. We've covered practical tips and tricks to get the most out of your LLM. We've looked at other tools and other resources, and we've looked at how to win, weave, innovate, and nurture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nick.